In the next 14 days, I've got 3 events that could shape how my season looks. I'm excited, but if I'm being honest, not exactly sure where my game's at right now. Alright gang, we back. Alright, in all seriousness, welcome back to the channel. It has been a seriously long off season. One of the longest winters that I can remember. Today is May 1st. I'm up at Griffin de Source. The course is not even open yet, but the tournaments don't wait. So I've been playing. I've played once. That felt good. It went alright. Actually, there's a lot of positives. Now, this part of the game, rusty. And rusty might be an understatement. The swing is feeling nice, but short game, kind of hard to work on indoors over the winter. Alright guys, before we get too far into this video, it's time to pay the bills. So the good people at Yesoul Fitness reached out to me over the winter and offered me a rowing machine in exchange for a review on the channel. And I figured it was actually a really good fit for my setup. The first thing I noticed was just how easy it was to assemble. I was ready to start rowing in under an hour. And one feature that I use all the time is the screen mirroring. It makes my workouts just way easier to stick to because I'm not just like staring at a wall for half an hour. Now you can get in shape while watching your favorite YouTube golfer. It also folds up for easy storage, which is huge for me because I don't have unlimited space. And the adjustable resistance is honestly smooth and quiet. Yesoul doesn't just make rowing machines either. They've also got stationary bikes, treadmills, and other smart fitness equipment depending on what kind of workouts you're into. And the reason I specifically chose the rowing machine is because it works the posterior chain a lot more than some other traditional cardio machines. As a golfer, that's important to me because I'm training my glutes, hamstrings, back, and core all simultaneously while still getting a great conditioning workout without a ton of impact on the joints. Honestly, it's been a really solid addition to my routine this offseason. And Yesoul is offering my audience a $100 discount if you use code GOLF100. So if you want to check it out, you'll find both the link and the promo code down in the description below. Now before we get too much into how the off season went, I want to talk about my goals for this year. The ultimate goal, get a tour card. Whether that's Korn Ferry Tour, PGA Tour Americas, I just want to have status somewhere. The last time I had status was 2022. So it has been a minute. Now, if we're going to get a tour card, well, we got to get to Q school. And there's a few ways that can happen. First and most obvious, pay your way in. Now, it's not cheap, a lot of expenses associated with it. The second option, that this year, first place finisher for the season-long race on the East Coast Pro Tour, they get their Korn Ferry Tour Q School entry fee paid for. Second place finisher gets their PGA Tour Americas Q School paid for. So hoping for a good year on the East Coast Pro Tour because that's a nice benefit at the end of the season. And the other way, as I mentioned, is to just pay your way in. And there's a couple of ways we can do that. Either win enough money in the tournaments I'm going to play on this summer and dump that money into a bank account, put it aside to pay for my entry fees and all the associated expenses, or find some more sponsors. Now, either way we hack it, playing good golf will solve a lot of my problems. It really is just that simple. Now, I am definitely not going to act like I am some kind of spring chicken. In fact, probably the opposite of whatever that would be. I'm turning 40 in a few months. I'm feeling pretty good. I've still got good club head speed. I feel like I've got a lot of good golf still ready to go. But every year that goes by, I get another year older, and this is just going to continue to get tougher and tougher. And I'm sure there's going to be people watching this video who are thinking, look at this guy, 40 years old, hasn't had status in almost 4 years. Give up kind of thing. That's fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I'm just a guy with a set of golf clubs and a dream. And as long as I feel like I can be competitive, my dream's still alive. The odds are most definitely stacked against me, but this is not a math test. This is golf. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about how the winter went. Now, I do have some sponsors, but I do not get the kind of financial backing that allows me to just kind of play golf year round. So I've got to make the most with what I have. It also means that I still teach to support myself and pay the bills at home. And I try to do most of my teaching over the winter to free up more time over the summer so that I can commit to more events and be on the road. So essentially my winter was a lot of lessons, as much practice as I could get in. So I committed a lot of my time in this off season to physical fitness, overall well-being, and overall I am feeling pretty good. I've been working with a physiotherapist for the last little while. Definitely feel like that's been pretty beneficial. I actually just went to get a massage this morning and basically had an ex-hockey player just beat the absolute crap out of me for an hour. It's gonna pay dividends, but it wasn't exactly like a relaxing spa experience, if you will. And if I'm being completely honest, and I like to be as transparent as possible on this channel, I suffered with some mental health issues, mostly at the end of last season, kind of going into winter. It was, I went down to Florida to film some content for the winter, and that's when I realized that I was not in a good spot. So took a lot of time to work on that over the winter, and then actually add seasonal depression on top of what I was already dealing with, and there were some very difficult times. Well, this is part of life. We all have challenges that we have to deal with, and recently that's been one of mine. Not gonna lie, the hands are feeling pretty good right now. Now let's take a minute, let's talk about what I worked on over the winter. So if you followed the channel last year, you would probably say right away, oh God, oh. Let's try that again. Anyways, as I was saying, if you watched the channel last year, you probably know that driver, that's better, was the biggest fault. And it really just came down to club face control. I was always delivering the club face shut, typically missing to the left, unless I would do something really crazy to try and open up the club face, in which case I could also miss right. Either way, none of the drives were really that solid. And essentially all I really had to work on was not necessarily my grip, in terms of like, you know, the hands were in a good spot, but I'd just fallen into the habit of grabbing the club face shut. And then I would rotate my forearms. I'm exaggerating, it wasn't this bad, but I would rotate my forearms to give myself the impression that the club face was square. So it looked fine to me at setup, but then if I've rotated the forearms, well, once I start the swing, you'd see the club face was just dead shut. I was really only doing that with driver. I can't tell you why, where it started, but it wasn't pleasant. Anyways, decided that I just want to be a one-trick pony with my driver. I'm not interested in trying to, you know, flight it multiple ways. Like, I want to be able to control height, sure, but I'm going to have one ball flight, and that is just fades. I have not even attempted to hit draws with my driver indoors since about December. And it's been going great indoors. It's always a bit of an adjustment once you get outside. I mentioned I've played one round so far. I hit driver a lot in that round, essentially as much as I could. There were two that curved a little bit to the left, basically because I just hit them a little bit out of the toe. I'm fine with that. These weren't wild left misses. They were still in play, still had shots at the green. Everything else faded, and I felt freedom with driver in my hands that I have not felt. God, it's been years since I felt that kind of freedom with driver. That was a really good feeling. Ooh, that was nipped. Seriously spinny. I also started with a new coach this winter. I almost forgot to mention that. And with the new coach, we haven't made a lot of massive changes. It's been more, I mean, he is my coach, but when we have sessions, it's more like I'm consulting with him, if you will. And I like it because it's not like a, hey, James, do this. It's, hey, James, let's have a conversation about what we're trying to achieve. Oh yeah, best one today. God, that's a nice shot. Low launch, high spin, back foot, open face, stay forward. Oh yeah. 20 yards of carry, almost 6,000 spin, launching just under 30 degrees, hitting 8 degrees down on it. Oh, wow, that felt good. Let's see if we can launch one a little higher. Want the same feels, just the ball a little further up in the stance so we have a little less shaft lean. Yep, I think it's going to be a good year around the greens. Let's try some different shots here. You know, chipping downhill, downwind. Greens are not mid-season speed, but man, they look like they are in great shape. And they're still running pretty good. If you're in the Montreal area though, save the date. May 15th, opening day, you're not gonna wanna miss out. We've made some changes to the course, redesigned a couple of holes, added some bunkers, removed some others. It's gonna be an exciting year up here at Griffin des Sources. So let's talk about the next couple of weeks. In 6 days, I have my first tournament of the year. It is a one-day East Coast Pro Tour event at Le Blainvilliers, which I've competed on a few times the past couple of years. And then a few days after that, on May 11th, I have US Open qualifying down in Albany, New York. Very excited for that one. And 2 days after that, on May 13th, Canadian Open qualifying, which was held here last year, but it's going to be at Elmridge Country Club this season. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from the East Coast Pro Tour or that one-day event, but the focus for the next couple of weeks has to be US Open and Canadian Open qualifying. Now, I'm playing in the East Coast Pro Tour event for experience, because it will be my first tournament in over 6 months, I think. I want to get rid of that rust, right? I want to feel those nerves. I don't want to feel that for the first time in half a year at US Open qualifying. There's just way too much on the line. But the goal at the end of the day is to figure out in tournament play what's working well and what isn't. Because I'm going to have a few days after that to address what is not working great before going down to US Open qualifying, and then follow that up with Canadian Open qualifying. Essentially, I've got 10 days to get hot. Which really doesn't sound like a lot, but full-time golfer for the next couple of weeks, taking time off from lessons, just doing everything I can to try and make sure that I'm getting off on the right foot this year. So just like the last 2 years, this year I'm going to be documenting every tournament, every qualifier. I'm going to try and add a little bit more behind the scenes. I want you guys to be able to get to know me a little bit more, but it's going to be a big year. But as stated earlier, playing good golf is really the answer to all of my problems. Jeez, that was lovely. I've never been able to hit these shots with so much ease, just like barely thinking about it. Ooh. By the way, if you're still watching at this point, then you're probably somewhat into the content that I'm putting out there. And if you're not already, you should probably just go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And guys, that's about all I got. I mean, took a break from the YouTube a little bit over the winter. I needed time to focus on me and focus on getting myself as ready for the season as I could. Yeah, I think I was in a constant state of burnout there for a little while, and it's probably why my mental health wasn't in a great spot going into the winter. At least one of probably many reasons why. I mean, who would be kidding? But we're back. I mean, I'm excited. I mean, I'm feeling everything. I'm excited. I'm anxious to get things going. I'm a little nervous because it's been a while since I've played in a tournament, but this is good nervous energy. Like I'm privileged to feel this pressure or this anxiety, because the only reason I'm feeling it is because this is something that I care about. If I didn't care, I wouldn't feel anything. I'd just be a robot. Anyways, guys, welcome back. It's good to have you. Thank you for being here. Really excited to get the 2026 season underway. I got to put the cameras down, put the microphone away. I've got work to do on my game now, as I only have, what did I say, 6 days? Yeah, I've got 6 days before my first tournament. So every minute counts right now. And I'm just excited to get the work in. So thanks a lot for being here. Welcome back if you've been here for last year or maybe even the year before. And the next time you guys see me, I will be on the first tee for my first tournament of the 2026 season. As always, thanks a lot for watching. And go Habs go.